Welcome to the Little Theater. On behalf of the Centenary Stage Company and Next Stage Reps, we'd like to welcome you to the performance of Book of Days by Lanford Wilson. Thank you again for joining us. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy Lanford Wilson's Book of Days.
Dublin, Missouri.
Population 4,780, 59 miles southwest of Fort Leonard Wood.
17 miles northeast of Springfield.
A pool hall.
Coffee shop,
Red Dot Cafe.
6 booths and a counter that seats 14.
A cheese plant.
Hardware.
Dress shop, beauty parlor.
Dry goods store. Smells like wheat.
Jeans, khakis.
Underwear, overalls, shirts, ties.
Dublin, Missouri.
County seat of Chosen County.
Big brick courthouse.
As perfect a cube as a town's alphabet block.
In the middle of the town square, one giant elm on the lawn.
The county extension's office is studying to see why that tree is still alive.
High school, 68% go on to college. Educated community.
4 bars.
5 churches.
One damn good family restaurant.
Community theater.
Movie theater.
4 screens.
Video rental.
Pizza Hut.
IGA. Dairy Queen.
Farmers plow up arrowheads in the spring when they prepare the ground for coal.
Soybeans.
Rye.
Sorghum.
Library. 2 pharmacies.
Golf course.
2 malls.
8 clean.
Wyatt.
Wide awake.
Prosperous town.
The smell of smoke from burning leaves lies in the air in the fall for days.
Right now, it's still spring,
May 15th.
on the cusp of a new millennium.
I suppose it's as good to start here as anywhere.
Getting off book.
Oh, you love talking that theater talk, don't you?
Is that right, or is it getting off lines?
I'm not gonna tell you. I like knowing one thing you don't. Will you write a reading Bernard Shaw's introduction?
What have you learned?
We need a better dictionary.
What?
Crapulous? I don't think it means the obvious.
No idea. Call Mom. She has a good dictionary.
No, I don't want to bother her. She's... Oh, what the hell? I don't think it's important, but anything that will shed some faint light on... No, she'll probably just know it. She usually does. Martha, hi! Got your shorter OED handy? Yeah, crapulous. No, it's Bernard Shaw. He didn't like the name George. That is the only thing I've learned about him. That and that he was a huge flirt but may have never had sex in his life. Yeah, at least with his wife. Ooh. From crapulence, gross intemperance, debauchery. Thank you. Ooh, while you were handy, what about vulpine?
Foxy. Cunning.
Oh, or like a fox, Martha said. At the same time? You both just knew that off the top of your heads?
An easy one.
Coming over later? Good. Want to talk to your son? I'll tell him. She's watching Jeopardy! Oh, God. You know, I'm all wrong for this. I'm 100 years too old, and my eyes are wrong.
I love your eyes.
They're too close together.
For what?
For Joan.
Is there a contemporary portrait of Joan of Arc?
Don't think so?
Nobody will notice.
Okay. Joan appears in a turret doorway. She is an able-bodied country girl of 17 or 18 with an uncommon face. Eyes very wide apart, a short upper lip, a resolute mouth, and a handsome fighting chin.
Well, you're able-bodied.
Why a short upper lip?
I think the handsome fighting chin's more important. I got short ribs for dinner.
Oh, God, fat. Shaw says nothing about Joan being grossly overweight.
First rehearsal tomorrow. We're celebrating.
I love short ribs. It's my life.
So that means dinner in about 3 hours. What do you want for dessert?
Oh, no dessert. God,
How about black raspberry cobbler?
You're the devil.
okay. Don't think less of me, but I don't cook. I mean, I can, you just really don't want to be there for it. And Len loves to cook, and he's incredible, and for me it's a chore. Also, the last time he cooked, last time I cooked, he stood in the kitchen the entire time looking over my shoulder, which drove me crazy, and he didn't even realize he was doing it, so...
We're going back a couple of weeks.
Shit.
To May 1st, the the day of the audition. River Street Theater.
Main season seats 209.
6 shows a year, 5-week runs.
People drive for an hour and a half. 60% of the audience is from Springfield.
Good number drive up from Branson.
This is Ruth Hoke.
Hi. I think I shouldn't be here. I didn't know this one wasn't a musical. Okay, someone said the next show was Same Joke by George Bernard Shaw, and I said, oh, what else has he done on Mason My Fair Lady? And I said, Great House and Carousel, and I think that is by the same guys.
It isn't.
It isn't. No, no, Nanette.
No.
No?
No.
Hit your wagon.
That's by the same composer and lyricist of My Fair Lady, but it's not Shaw. Shaw wrote the play that My Fair Lady is based on.
That's a completely different thing, isn't it?
No, pretty much.
If you knew my work, you could have just told me I wasn't right for it. Morton Bowler's correct.
What do you do, Ruth, when you're not singing?
I am the bookkeeper down at the cheese plant. My husband's the manager.
Okay. And what have you prepared for us today?
You're a queer one, Julie Jordan. Who knew? It's really a duet, but I do this a solo.
Have you any dramatic monologues?
Not really.
Comic?
Not really.
Okay, let's hear your queer one, Julie Jordan.
You don't even have to come to this stuff. Oh, what the hell? Let's just get this over with, right?
No, I wouldn't be able to tell a thing. I'm really sorry.
I understand. It's my fault. Oh, wait, no, no, no. I do know things from Shakespeare. I mean, I did a scene with this kid in college.
Great, go to it, Miss Hope. And for preacher restaurants, is it called a dramatic monologue?
Maybe romantic.
It's called a dramatic monologue.
I'll remember. Could you just, like, get back out there? I mean, I'm talking to someone who's not close. He's more out there. Oh, okay.
No problem.
All right. Well, I come up on my balcony at night. Don't know if he's down there listening. Romeo. Oh, Romeo.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
No, sorry, go on.
Romeo. Romeo. Wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not Montague. Oh, what's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Ah, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. As Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself. Then he says something, and she realizes he's heard her, and she says, Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face. Else would a maiden blush repaint my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight.
That gives you a fair idea.
I did the whole scene.
Damn near the whole play.
I wanted to get to I should have been more straight.
I think we get the picture.
Shit.
Good. Thank you.
Nice. I think I actually understood that. When I did it in school, I had no idea what that silly twit was talking about.
Oh, it seems like that sometimes, doesn't it?
Anyway.
I think we found our Joan. I was just about to give up.
Oh, who did you decide? Ah, like that?
Like that. We may have to cut your hair.
Only I think Martin Bowers, the artistic director, intended for his daughter to be Joan.
I've known Martin for years, and Cassandra, she can't act.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe she could play one of the other girls in the play.
There's a couple women in the first act.
Yeah, they have about one line apiece.
Perfect. She can't fuck that up. Why do I have a feeling I would never get another part in this theater?
That's not my problem. I'm just here for this gig.
Oh, great attitude.
Yeah, I'm known for my compassion.
Upland, Missouri.
17 miles northeast of Springfield. Len's mother,
Martha Hoke.
Dean of Harwood Christian College.
Just outside of Springfield.
11 miles from Dublin.
Enrollment almost 3,000.
I can't for the life of me understand what the hell is going on with these kids today. I just saw a girl walking out of the pharmacy with her body pierced and stapled in every possible. Rows of silver rings and studs through her lip, her cheek, her eyebrow, her neck, her nose, her belly button. You know damn well she's got one on her clit.
Hey.
I'd like to see her drop that in addition to airport security.
I don't get it.
And I'll bet you $1 she'll be in my freshman English composition class this fall.
They're just trying to express their individuality.
Yeah, individuality and license. Let freedom ring. God above. Still, they're not half as bad as, I swear, half my kids don't even know they're alive. They live a calm, sexless denial of every human impulse. Passionless, humorless little automatons. What is that? In the 60s, the late 60s, we rejoiced in our bodies. I don't mind them raising hell at that age, but the option now seems to be between self-mutilation and total denial of your existence.
I don't get it.
And after all the indiscriminate sex and the endless ingestion of drugs we endured to set them free, we did not put ourselves to those perilous experiments for ourselves. We did it for them, for our children, our children's children.
Heard that.
Good. Slobbing barefoot and naked through the rain and mud at Woodstock. For what? To set our country free. Liberation! And look at what the perforated generation has done with it. I gotta get myself a new story. I have thoroughly worn out Woodstock, haven't I?
What are you talking about? I was conceived at Woodstock. It's my one claim to fame.
Well, we think so. It's altogether possible.
It got me through college. It got me laid. Twice.
Well, good, darling, I'm glad. The truth be told, we were so stoned back then, I didn't know where I was most of the time.
You went to Woodstock. You hitchhiked all the way from Marshfield.
Oh, I was there. There are pictures to prove it. They were published in alternative magazines all over the world. My tits ended up on a 1970 calendar. August, I think. Oh, I was let the sunshine. I just wasn't there. And it's altogether likely you were conceived there, so rest assured. And that your father really was your father. 80%.
She loves doing this to me.
Well, the way that bastard turned out, it's nothing to brag about.
What wife is he on now?
On is funny. He's on 4 of them at once, last I heard, in we don't know or care where, Mexico. God, he was a good-looking man. Good to see he hasn't lost his spirit.
Martha, you have more spirit. Yeah, if the chancellor of that school you run to your background, you would be out on your butt.
Don't I know it? What a fucked up school. There shouldn't be such a thing as a Christian college. They let themselves look like freaks to give them the illusion of independence. But Walt Whitman is not on our shelves. Poor chancellor. Poor students. God knows what they're fit for when we're finished with them.
You'll find the originality and spirit in them. You always do. It's why you're there.
Sisyphus pushing that bloody rock, honey.
Jesus.
Whoa, that's delicious.
That's the 2-year-old.
That's great. Smoother than I expected.
You get a classic cheddar bite comes later.
At dinner, Len, Ruth, Boyd, and Boyd's assistant.
At dinner, Len, Ruth, Boyd, and Boyd's girlfriend. The assistant. Ginger.
May 23rd, the day of the feast.
I think he's sleeping.
With Ginger? How? He's only been here 7 days.
2 weeks. And he's, West Coast. Hollywood.
Just one rule. We are not going to talk shop.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Really? Because shop's about all I know.
Oh, don't believe him. He knows everything.
You can talk your shop, just not our shop. I do not want to think about 15th century France.
Nothing French, or English, or classical, or Shavian.
You want to see the garden?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we better go hit it before it gets dark.
Be right back.
So I came out here, never been in a small Midwestern town in my life. The people in this company are excellent. I mean, Maureen has just taught them beautifully. Last thing in the world I would have thought, oh my God, Ruth. The thing is, we've only had a week's worth of rehearsal, and she's already astonishingly good. Doesn't know it at all. I mean, she is Joan. Knows firearms. Used to hunt in the woods with her dad, and that complete commitment to her convictions. The tenacity of a bulldog. Where can you find authority like that today? Maybe except the religious and political crackpots, but oh, no Shaw. That is the best meal I've had in about 3 years.
And that's Midwestern cooking. I've been living in the wrong part of the country.
My grandmother, half Alsatian, half Italian, taught me to cook. Tonight was basically a variation on something I promised we wouldn't talk about tonight.
Oh, family secret.
Classic French.
God, can they cook? Absolute bastards otherwise. So, Leonard, how do you make cheese?
Len. I haven't been called Leonard since I was... Well, actually, I've never been... You take a lot of milk, separate the curds from the whey, sell the whey to a company that makes alcohol, sell bricks of curd to a big company like Kraft or Morgan. They chop them up, heat them up, pasteurize them up, add water and emulsifying salts, and God knows what else, and call it cheddar or English or Monterey Jack, whatever else their marketing division decides Americans will fall for.
You don't sound very enthusiastic about the final product.
Damn, that show. Since Walt made me manager, been a little over 2 years, I've been experimenting, trying to see what we can really do if we're interested in doing something worth doing.
So how much you thinking, Len?
You're asking? I'll tell you. I'd like to convert the whole works, our whole production. We could do it in less than 3 months.
Then you'd be out of a job. I'm not going to close down for 3 or 4 years while your cheese is in a cave somewhere to age.
Child pulse. Not all the money you're ever going to need.
Don't worry about how much money I need. What's your second plan?
Minimum. For now. To start. Hold back maybe 10%. I'd like more, but 10% to start. I can run the numbers on.
I know the numbers. What'll it make?
Down the road, probably 20-25% increase in profits.
Bull, how far down the road?
In 3 years, we'll know if it's working. We might have the provolone and less.
Provolone. You ever buy a provolone at the supermarket?
Rubber.
I had a provolone in Florence, Italy over 30 years ago. I can still taste. In the good sense. Ripe, creamy, and just a little bite in the tongue. A little grape in the texture.
I know. I think 10% won't break us.
Me, you mean. Won't break me. I had your interest when I first started the business. Too damn long ago. I didn't go into it to sell to a processing company, but God, the money they offered. Kraft came to me, offered me a deal too good to turn down. Now when I can stomach it to show up here, it's just a routine with no product. Hi guys, doing a great job, and back to the car. Anymore, I'd rather fish. Spend my time down in Florida.
Seems like an okay boss.
Yeah, that's great. So, I'm trying to develop an aged provolone for Walt and a real cheddar. It's coming along. We can sell the cheddar in 1-year increments. The year-old is full-flavored, has a creamy texture, nothing like what you'd usually think of as cheddar. Second year, it intensifies quite a bit, gets fuller. Third year has a real rounded, almost fruity flavor. Then, at 4, the sharpness starts to take over, that real cheddar taste, no relation to 90% of what passes for cheddar. Then the 5-year-old, if we're doing it right, and damn if you do. That has what you're after. It's pungent, sharp, a little sour, and has this deep, deep flavor, with a long, really sharp but mellow aftertaste. That's the sign of a good cheese. That aftertaste. Much more than 5 years, all your mistakes start to show. We've got the 1 year and the 2. It looks like we're on the right track. I think we've already got the provolone. I really do. I gave some to Sharon and surprise Walt.
Yeah, I can see how you and Ruth were attracted to each other. You're complete opposites. Complete opposites.
didn't know it's gonna turn out cheddar instead of Limburger.
No way. They all have a different process. Okay, now you're just baiting me. See if you can get me to make a fool of myself. I hear myself. I sound
I
like
have
some...
nothing but respect for someone who believes in what he's doing.
What are you doing here, Boyd? In Dublin? I mean, it's great having you, but a big-time Broadway director won that award.
I was nominated for the award, twice actually, and I lost to a hat, in the same fucking hat both times.
Oh, and movies. Even I heard of you.
Oh, you had not.
Well, I've heard of your movie, I think.
I'd like to believe you heard of the first one, not the second one. I made a good independent film, moved to LA. The studio gives you a pile of bucks to make your next movie. Then they start telling you how to make it. They butcher it in editing, and when it flops big time, no one returns your phone calls.
That really happens?
All the time. The Hollywood story. It's been 4 years and not a nibble since, so here I am.
I thought you'd say you love the play and you'd go anywhere and walk through fire to do it.
I walk through fire less often than I used to.
The Ozark Mountains.
Lakes and rivers.
Great fishing.
The whole countryside so beautiful in the spring it can break your heart.
Dogwood trees.
Redbud.
Dairy
The
farms.
grass so green it hurts your eyes.
Black and white Holstein cows.
Big red barns.
Rolling, rolling hills.
Rolling,
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 rolling on a river. Come on, people. Rolling,
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 rolling.
rolling on a river.
Fire red and yellow in the fall.
A color like nowhere else on earth. Shepherd of the Hills country.
Tornado Alley.
Middle of the Ozarks.
Tornado Alley.
We gotta get James in here somewhere.
The boss's son. Most popular young man.
I've never been so shocked or so proud of anything in my life. James' senior year. They held the finals of the Missouri State High School basketball tournament in Independence that year. Sharon and I drove up for the whole tournament, wouldn't have missed it. Final game for the championship of the state of Missouri. Class 3A, Little Dublin versus Jennings, a suburb of St. Louis. 7-foot tall center, a 6'10" player on guard, fastest boy I ever saw in my life. He's on James like a swarm of hornets all game. They're a fast break team. We're all ball control, slow-paced games. Wait for your shots, okay? End of double overtime. Still tied 34-34. Lowest score for Jennings in 13 years. This is for the championship. We go into triple overtime. Back then, it was sudden death. First team to score wins. Bobby Groves gets the tip for Dublin. Brings it down, passes the ball. Good ball handlers, the whole team. No shot clock back then. I think they passed the ball so much the Jennings team fell into a coma or something. Suddenly, out of nowhere, James has the ball. My son, 30 feet from the basket, cool as a cucumber,
Ice water in his veins.
and shoots. And that damn ball, I swear to God I saw it in slow motion. Just arced up like a rainbow and fell straight down. Snapped through the net, never touched the rim.
Nothing but nylon.
I've never been so shocked or so proud of anything in my life.
I'll bet I've heard him tell that story word for word 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
James Bates!
Late May. A day for old friends.
Hey there.
Hi, James.
That's my favorite cheerleader.
Your favorite cheerleader is my cousin, and you are married to her.
You're forgetting that.
I know you do. And I'm blushed. Oh, congratulations. I heard you finally passed the bar exams. What was that, the, 7th try?
Hey, lucky 7.
Oh.
I was actually going for the record. I actually studied this time. 6 whole DAMN months.
Well, I just got out of rehearsal. I don't even know what language we're speaking in there.
Luann said you were doing another show.
It's a very moral play. You should make a point to see it.
You know better than that. Church comes down on congregating for pure purposes like entertainment. I'm afraid Bobby prefers our congregation get the morality from the Bible.
Oh, balls. You know, last time I was at your house, Luann was in that rec room with that 52-inch TV watching Blue Velvet.
In the sanctity of our home, we're really lenient on some things. It's just we prefer not to expose ourselves in a public kind of setting.
Oh, meaning you'll expose your dick, but not your mind.
You've got the foulest darn mouth on you for a woman, you know that?
What are you doing at the stage door?
Well, I was thinking maybe Ginger wanted to take a spin down to the river, cool off some.
That is not gonna work. She is fucking the director.
That mouth again.
You just bring out the dirt, James. Lying around, studying for the bar the last 6 years. Looked to me like most of the studying was taking place down at the Springfield golf course.
Hey, I work for a state congressman. I can't help it if most of our business is transacted out on the links.
Yeah, in that phony blonde beautician's bed in Springfield.
Nothing's happening there. You are the second.
I'm glad you passed the bar. Maybe you'll finally make something of yourself. We didn't vote you most likely to succeed, so you could screw around.
What are you doing now? You need a lift?
I got my car. Going home to a cool shower.
Well, take care of yourself, sugar. Don't wear yourself out.
Don't call me sticky names, James. You call me Ruth.
And a good Christian name it is too, Ruthie.
So proud of anything in my life. All that's changed now.
That's the noon whistle.
James!
Dad!
Haven't seen you down at the plant in 6 months.
Keep trying to tell him. I've had enough of that place to last me a lifetime.
Boyd Middleton, James Bates. Boyd's working with Ruth on the play they're doing here.
You're the director.
Pleased to meet you.
James used to work down the plant. Summer vacations, any day after school, he didn't have basketball practice. He never saw anyone that grim and determined.
Operative word there being grim.
I thought sure what was grooming him to take over management.
Yeah, imagine that's how Dad saw it too. I worked those 7 summers at $4.50 an hour. And with every turn of that paddle, churning those stinking vats, I was saying this is one day getting my fuzzy butt out of the cheese business.
Even Walt couldn't see the economy of putting a lawyer to work stirring curds.
Talk to Earl. Seems like you pretty much got everything the way you wanted.
Some things working out pretty good.
So you're a lawyer then?
Yes, sir. As of last Tuesday, I'm officially one of that overcrowded, superfluous breed of man. Good to meet you, Boyd.
Juniper! Oh, God.
Blood and feathers all over the
Oh,
backyard.
God, honey. Wally killed a bird, a catbird, the one that's always out in the bird bath.
You don't know it was that one. There are catbirds everywhere this year.
Yeah, well, they're also wonderfully friendly. They're unafraid.
Well, they'll learn that doesn't pay, won't they?
Len!
Honey! Wally killed the catbird. He didn't kill the catbird. Cats are supposed to kill catbirds. Catbirds got their name on them.
I know that, but I saw it. Okay, I was on the phone with Martha, and I guess the bird was just hopping around in the grass, and suddenly Wally jumped out of the bushes, and there was a chirp and a tumble. I'm yelling, it was Wild Kingdom in the middle of the backyard.
What did Mom say?
Martha said Wally killed the catbird. I didn't kill the catbird. It'd be different if he ate them.
How would that be different?
I don't know, it's just sportive. It's the white man killing all the buffalo.
What do you want?
Nothing, I'm fine. How was your day?
You know how it is down there in this weather. Spent half the day in the refrigerator. Earl's bitching to Walt about all the volume we're losing on Len's pet project.
Tell Earl it is his job to make sure the farmers' milking parlors are sanitary. He has got nothing to say about the way things are run at the plants.
Supposed to rain next week. Break this heat. Everything will look better.
Yeah, sure.
What?
Nothing. It's just rehearsals are. I can't do this, girl. She's too complicated and too simple. It's impossible. Nobody's like that.
I was reading about it. Said most people consider Joan one of the most challenging parts ever written for a woman.
You were reading about St. John. Okay, no, that is what you do.
What do I do?
You hear about something and you read up on it so you know all about it, and I would just sit there and go, duh.
Just curious what you got yourself up against. Compare Joan to Hamlet. Of course, Hamlet couldn't decide on action, and Joan is unshakably committed to action. and the truth of her voices.
I'm not smart enough to play Joan. You should play Joan.
Boy, sure happy says you're a genius.
Oh, well, we both know that's a lie.
Honey, it's early. You're always like this during the first couple of weeks. You were like this with Carousel.
Well, this one's no merry-go-round.
So, what do you want me to do with the catbird out there? You want me to cook it?
No.
If he's the one that's always at the bird bath, at least we'll know he's clean.
God, leave it for the animals.
Big colonial house.
Columns all across the front.
The garden goes on for days.
Hey, old buddy.
How's that, Earl?
Oh, pretty goddamn low, if you want to know.
You two not talk that talk with me around?
This humidity is killing me, Luann. Whoever thought Missouri was habitable was crazy as a barn owl.
It's a killer, ain't it?
I'm better than I was. Took off at noon, jumped into the river down by Sparta Bridge, bare ass naked. Coming out, I didn't even dry off, just walked up and down the riverbank with my arms out like a scarecrow cooling down.
People could see you from the highway down there.
Luann, I don't care. It was that guy.
No reason the heat's never bothered me.
We know, Dad, you're a superhuman.
I didn't say that. Never could take the cold. It goes right through me.
Are you going to work, James? Are you fixing to fix your carburetor or help your dad and Earl clean their guns?
I, hadn't planned on it.
Well, then roll your sleeves down. Why do you do that? You ought not to let him get away with it, Luann.
Him? Listen to me?
Mom's afraid that I'll disgrace her and look low class.
Don't be ridiculous. This is America. We don't have classes here. Just expect a son of mine to dress like you respect yourself and the people around you.
When I'm 100 years old, Mom's gonna be 118. We'll be sitting in the old folks' home and she'll say, James, don't chew with your mouth open. People will think you were born in a cave.
It's called a nursing home, not an old folks' home. Show some respect.
But I tell you,
Shit.
Earl! We don't use words like that in this house. You know that. Walt and I took the whole summer off last year. We loaded up the Winnebago and struck out north to the Black Hills, Mount Rushmore, the Crazy Horse Monument, carved out of a single granite mountain. The Grand Tetons, Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Yellowstone, Old Faithful. Oh, it was wonderful. If you haven't done that, if you haven't seen those places, you have to do that for yourself. Just to see what an incredible country we live in. Most people, well, city people, I think they don't know what this country is. All those people criticizing America, they'd be completely different if they could just really see this country. Of course, we get back and the guy who had been mowing the lawn had been sick, didn't get anybody to replace him. I couldn't believe it. The garden was weeds to your waist. Hardly had time to get things done before it was time to go down to Florida.
They have a gorgeous place in Florida.
Walt's never liked cold weather. The last 7 years we've had a place down in Florida, spending more and more time. I think he almost thinks of that as home now.
Stuart, Florida.
Pretty town.
On the St. Lucie Inlet. You want to have a place to go when you get sick.
That isn't going to happen. You're not going to get sick. He had a heart attack 4 years ago. Only 56. So he thinks of a place where he'd want to rest up, get his strength back.
The fishing's so good down there. Sail and marlin. You go out, catch the Gulf Stream. Fishing's better in warm water. In 2 hours, you can drift 14, 15 miles north on the stream. Down at Seward, it runs about 2 miles an hour. Then you come inland, sail back down home.
Cold weather's never really suited him. Doesn't bother me at all. I kind of miss the snow.
If you listen very closely, you can hear it in the distance.
The day of worship, outside the church, a Sunday morning ritual.
Just as I am without one plea, but that thy
I can't get away with anything with this guy. I heard every word, Bobby.
Sure you did.
How are you,
How
Luann?
about the new dress to match your car?
Looking good. Sharon, hey, you tell Walt he doesn't have to wait for Easter every year to get around to church. Oh, Walt, even beautifully as you preach, Bobby, you know Walt can't abide sermons.
He's afraid someone might tell him what to do.
Conroy, how's that new little baby girl of yours doing?
She's an angel, Bobby. I've been awake asleep in 4 months.
I remember. Good morning, Ruth. Didn't believe my eyes when I saw you out front this morning. Any chance of us persuading Len to come around?
He has to cover down at the plant on Sunday.
I know. Can't get those cows to keep the faith. Miss Reed, I believe that is the shortest skirt that has ever walked into this church.
The trunk in the wash.
I enjoy all you young people showing up. I knew when Bobby joined the ministry, he'd start bringing in the youth. You know James, don't you?
We went together my whole junior year.
Oh, of course you did.
Come on, Mom, I'll drive you home.
Let's go, Luann.
Well, that is a good man. I know he'll make a fine candidate for representative this fall.
You're joking.
He's been working for Representative Pratt the last 5 years.
The old boy's retiring?
Prominent family, tight with the farmers. Closest thing we have to a sports hero.
And that qualifies him for government?
Saw you down here this morning, Ruth. Thought you got lost. Don't you belong down in Springfield at the Episcopal Church?
Yeah, but that's not where you go to keep up with what's going on in Dublin.
So, you two doing research for that morality play James says you're putting on?
James said that?
Nice sermon, Bobby.
Well, I suppose St. Joan is a morality play in a way. Not sure whose morals it represents.
You're familiar with the play.
The Christian ministry is not nearly as ignorant as the rest of the country likes to hope.
Yeah, the Episcopalians are fine for me, but they were a little naive for Joan.
I always saw Joan as a little naive herself. Ladies?
What?
Smooth. Very smooth.
Oh, so cute as a button. You know, those buttons you like to put in your mouth and kind of bite on.
Stop it!
Commencement day, high school graduation.
Brand spanking new building.
Took 12 years to pass the bond to build it.
Old building had to damn near fall down first.
Whole county tired with their money than a bark on a tree.
Outside on the lawn.
People just beginning to show.
High school band setting up.
June 5th.
Do you have anyone from the family graduating?
Walt just likes to be here to show his respect.
The feudal lord nods to his vassals.
Not at all. Shame on you. High school graduation is a big deal for Walt. You giving the commencement speech again this year?
No. Just a quick hello, be introduced. I'll see a lot of them next spring in matriculation.
It amazes me the way you turned out, Martha. Dean of a college.
Junior college.
Everyone used to point and say, ain't it a shame she turned out so wild, and her the brightest kid in school.
Being wild back then was smoking in public, painting daisies on your cheeks.
I wish I'd have known you better back then.
No, you don't. I was a mess.
Walt's never really believed you going on to college. You didn't go, so he thinks it's a waste of time.
No. Some guy getting ready to cut me open, take out my appendix, I darn well want to see his diploma. I just say if you're gonna be a farmer, you're gonna manage a cheese plant, like I always thought James would, then you're better off with some job experience, and a lot of English and history.
James hasn't done so badly by us. They're putting him up for the assembly.
I heard that.
Only thing worse than a lawyer is a politician. I'm okay with it now, but that was the biggest disappointment of my life. You think you're doing it for your boy. Turns out you don't know what you're doing it for. Took the pride right out of it for me. But hey, maybe your boy's gonna give me some of that pride back. Last night, Sharon put a little plate of cheese and a pear in front of me for dessert.
I thought for a minute he wasn't going to eat it.
I took a bite of pear, a sliver of provolone. I was back in Florence, Italy on our honeymoon. Waiting 30 years to have that experience again.
June 6th, a a night of temptation.
Excuse me, what are you doing sitting on my porch?
Well, I'd say I was out for a smoke, but I don't smoke. Saw your little red Subaru last night, parked outside the motel where they got that director staying.
I'm his assistant on St. Joe.
And you can't do that through the theater. You gotta go to his bedroom to assist him.
Oh, drag your mind up out of the gutter, James, if you can find it. We're working. Scheduled to direct The Rainmaker, the last play this season, which is very important to me. I need all the advice I can get.
Well, what the devil's work is he doing here is what I'd like to know. You ask yourself that?
It's directing George Bernard.
No, balls. You are so simple, I'm surprised you can even dress yourself. The man has done all these plays in New York, movies, 8 or 9 TV shows, and has his bio in Who's Who. Is going to come here for our famous local culture? Wake up.
Maybe he wanted a break. Maybe he...
From what? You didn't come all this way just to bang some sweet redhead. No disrespect, but I imagine they have all those they need in Hollywood.
What do you want?
Well, I was thinking maybe we could, go for a spin.
Oh, good Lord, James. I don't spin with married men.
You're still holding that against me?
And we've got a 10 a.m. call tomorrow, and I already told you that Luann is a friend of mine. I don't go out with
What are you talking about? I didn't say go out. I said go out for a ride.
I hope we're both smart enough to know what happened.
I hope so. God, when did you get to be so standoffish?
When did you get to be so married? Or so gropey?
When in the last 4 years have I even touched you?
What do you call having your hand around my waist? Around my neck? Halfway down my blouse? Grabbing me from behind? Pressing your body up against me? I put my legs up in the booth over at the Red Dot or somewhere. You come by and run your hands over them.
What the H-E-double-L is wrong with women that a guy can't be friendly anymore?
Jesus.
I'm a warm-natured guy.
Oh, yeah, I'd say you were.
You watch that guy. Sugar.
About a week ago. After work. What's happening, Oz?
Hey, old buddy. Big Red?
I like it. I'm heading out to Mulder's. You feel like picking up some dust?
Nah, you go on.
Come on.
I'm past due in Springfield.
So, you heard that little shit about your dad doing down at the plant?
I saw they was moving in more bats.
You know why? I guess it's not enough they built that whole refrigeration house for him to wash his fucking provolone.
I hope you're not forgetting you have a contract.
I'm forgetting nothing. Just don't worry about it. It's not your concern.
You're already shorting them more than 1,000 pounds a day. Kraft is not going to let you cut back anymore. They have a contract with us for a certain amount. They're not going to let some 2-bit outfit short them. Also, to go in direct competition with
We're in no competition with anything, David.
they'll cut us right off at the knees. We won't have a place to sell our products.
It's my product. It's not our product, son. You've got no say in what happens to it or what I do with it. And you won't have. You gave up your say in that plant a long time ago, mister. Just don't you worry about what's happening down there.
You are letting that simple squirt walk all over you. Cutting back 1/5 of your volume now, what's it going to be next month?
I told you not to worry about it! You don't want to be involved down there, that's fine. You don't have to be involved down there. You just go play a little politics, and I won't tell you your business, and don't you dare try and tell me mine! My God, June, look at that sky.
June 7th, the night of Walt's death.
Texas.
Louisiana,
Mississippi.
Alabama,
Tornado Alley,
Oklahoma.
Arkansas,
Missouri.
Kansas.
Tennessee,
Tornado Alley,
Nebraska.
Illinois.
Iowa.
Tornadoes move from southwest to northeast.
From as little as a few feet wide to a mile across.
Travel distances as short as 1/4 of a mile.
Up to 600 miles.
winds as high as 300 miles an hour, updraft to 200 miles an hour.
Nature's most destructive force.
People report it sounds like a huge train rolling over you.
One guy said it sounded to him like Niagara Falls.
June 8th, 4:30 a.m., Dublin, Missouri.
toaster radio.
Aren't they in the refrigerator?
We must be out. Be prepared, right? I couldn't find it. Coffee's on the stove, ought to be ready. No phones, no electricity. We have stuff in the freezer, not going to keep more than 5 or 6 hours. I got to go down to the plant. Sort of like that. I just hope the generator kicked in. There's going to be trees down all over the place.
With the power out, most of the farmers will be milking by hand.
Bobby Wheeler's milking 43 cows. I know for a fact his generator's down.
Lord, better go help when they go to the plant.
I couldn't milk a cow if my life depended on it.
Yeah, I know.
Len, there you are. I thought you'd be down to the plant. I went there first.
Just head there now, Sheriff. What can I do you for?
What? What?
God.
I'm sorry, Len. I didn't even want to tell you this. Worst part of my job.
What?
Sheriff says Walt got killed last night out in the storm.
How?
Some type of hunting accident. Walt's gun went off when that monster mother of a tornado came down by the lake last night. I was wondering if you two wanted to take a drive with me over to tell Sharon.
No, that didn't happen. I didn't say any of those words.
I'm afraid it did, Sheriff.
Well, I'm not about to do it. Well, I'm sorry. No, I said.
Oh, how do you expect? Ginger, will you step in and do Mrs. Bates' breakdown for us?
I didn't have any breakdown, and I don't say words like that.
Ginger, will you step in and do Mrs. Bates' breakdown for us?
Okay, sure. I didn't say any of those words. No! What the hell were you doing setting up for a duck blind in the middle of the night? Ducks don't fucking fly at that goddamn hour! It's your goddamn fault, you piece of shit! Son of a bitch, how the hell did you let that happen? What did you do? You answer me, you bastard! Don't have any sense at all! I wanna see him!
Sharon, you don't want to do that
God
anymore.
damn
You
it,
don't.
you fucking take me there now! The lamb! Where's that asshole worthless son of mine? I don't know, Sharon. Then drive me down to the morgue to see the body of my husband! I didn't say any of those words, and even if I had, it would have been perfectly justified. Oh, Bobby! What am I supposed to do without that man? I know you all cared for him, but I want the sisters of my church with me now.
I swear to God, it looked like the storm was letting up. We've been planning this for over a month. And I come up to the back door and I'm thinking, he's not going to be up. He'll have chickened out and gone back to bed with this rain. I was already getting pissed. He hadn't called me, saved me from coming over. I knock real light on the back door and hell, he's up and dressed, has a thermos of coffee made, raring to go. I swear, it looked like the storm had passed. It was starting to get light out. We thought it was over. Then by the time we got up to the lake, it started getting darker and darker. We get out of the truck. We walk to the blind with Walt's flashlight, and it started raining like I don't remember ever seeing rain before. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And the wind, god damn, I ain't never been in a wind like that. And then she comes. Goddamn, barreling down like a freight train. Oh, Jesus. We couldn't see a goddamn thing, but Walt and me both knew what that was. Walt had his mouth in my ear yelling, "Lay down flat and hang on to something." My ears were popping, my chest was about to explode from the change in pressure. You never hear about that. No one had ever told me about that. I take the sheriff out to see the place. And the track it left, the sheriff said, was about a quarter of a mile wide, 12 miles long. It had taken every tree, every bit of underbrush, every blade of grass, right down to the mud. And you could see where the actual twister missed us by about 30 feet. But it had taken down a lot of trees around where Walt and me was. And Walt must have been twisted around, disoriented. God damn, was he strong. You could see where he had crawled maybe 10 feet. He had a shotgun there under him. And he was down under the branches of this oak. You couldn't tell if the tree got him first or his gun did. Sheriff says it looks like a tree pushed him, caused him to get off balance, twist the gun around. God, Len! His chest, part of his face is just gone. Sharon can no way have an open casket.
I didn't hear a thing but the rain and thunder.
I didn't even hear that. I slept right through it.
I gotta go down to see him.
I will come with you. Maybe you hide. Or, honey, you're the one that's gonna faint, not me.
If you listen very carefully.
June 12th, the day of the funeral.
Bobby Groves told me to tell Walt that he didn't have to wait until Easter to come to church with me. I didn't know I'd be bringing Walt to church in a bronze casket. When you're so close with someone, when everything you do is for him, all you know is him, your life is him, and then he's taken away. It's like there's more of you gone than there is left. I was the prettiest girl in my class.
In the whole town.
When we started going out, it was just so logical. I was 8 years younger than him, but even that was right. I was so grateful to be pretty for him because he deserved that. Someone who would keep herself up and keep things running smoothly. We always wanted a daughter. That wasn't God's will. I think I made a good, quiet life for him. I know I tried. I just hope that's what he wanted. There were nights that he would read the paper after supper and go to bed without saying one word all night. Never failed to make me worry that I'd done something.
He was a hard man to know. He was one of the few men I knew who knew when to keep his mouth shut. Unfortunately, he didn't always know when to open it.
I know.
You need to get a life, Sharon.
We'll never get used to the way that you talk. I was looking in the mirror this morning. I was thinking, I'm 52. I don't even know if that's young or old. I could say I was middle-aged, but how many people do you know who are 104?
You're a woman with her life ahead of her.
No, my life was buried out there in that graveyard this afternoon with a big, ugly stone getting ready to be put on top of it.
You could always get a new one if you don't like it.
No, I think that's the last thing I can do for him. The monument people called up and I said, just the biggest, most vulgar one you've got. I'm worried about James.
I thought he'd never stop crying at the funeral.
He hasn't said one word since Walt died. Not not James.
It was a beautiful service. I think everyone in town was there. Farmers from all over and their families. I think every dairy farmer within a 100-mile radius. He was the most respected man in this part of the state. And he thought the sun was rose and set by you. Would you like something to drink? I made a pot of coffee. There's soda in the fridge. Iced tea. I've never been so humiliated in my life. Sheriff comes to the door with Ruth and Len, 6 in the morning, asking for you. Wanted you to go with him to help him tell your mom. I didn't even lie. I said, I don't know where James is. He didn't come home last night. He sometimes doesn't come home till 9 or 10 in the morning. Sometimes he goes right to the courthouse without coming home first. Always with a clean shirt and a clean shave and a clean change of clothes. He's a very clean young man. Innocent Len, hope and naive as a child, said, where does he go to, Luran? And I said, I don't give a good goddamn, Len. Where he goes, or what he does there.
June 14th.
Come on.
It's just difficult to concentrate all this.
What are you feeling?
Boy, I am so screwed up with life. I feel like I can't get in touch with myself at all. I'm feeling... Never had a death in my family. Isn't close. Someone I really knew before was just... I missed him. Just the other day, I was upset because our stupid cat had killed a bird, and I would almost feel sacrilegious to it. And this is just so insignificant and pointless and petty. To put on a show, you almost want to laugh at the inappropriate, self-serving smallness of it.
It seems like that sometimes, doesn't it?
And I just keep thinking, I don't know what, but something is not right. What was the most careful son of a bitch with firearms that I'd ever...
It's always hard to accept when someone's really gone, especially in something sudden, an accident.
I know that. I know nothing is going to bring him back. But just to be working on something so...
No, we don't have the power to bring Walt back. But we do have the power to bring back George Bernard Shaw. You can bring back Joan of Arc. I know it's just too exact.
Boyd, something's not right.
Okay, something's not right. I'll be happy to discuss this with you outside of rehearsal. But if we don't keep on schedule, tech will be a nightmare.
June 16th.
Took the Chevy to the shop. Thought I'd try with you. How do you go today?
I want to go.
Rehearsal?
Len, don't ask every damn day. What else? We're into the trial scene. The bastards forced Joan to recant, and she thought after that they'd let her go home, but then she finds out even after she recanted, they intended to hold her in a dungeon for the rest of her life.
Who did?
The inquisitor, the chaplain, the church. Len, I thought you read the damn play.
Sorry.
She says I can live on bread and clean water. When have I asked for more? But to shut me from the light of the sky? You know, she says, how can you take away the simple things of life? Like the fields, trees, sunshine. And without these things, I cannot live. And by your wanting to take them away from me, or from any human creature, I know that your counsel is of the devil, and that mine is of God. She actually says that. Joan of Arc actually says that. She calls the church the counsel of the devil. That sure cooked her goose.
Guess it would.
I keep thinking, though, I don't know what, okay, what's different? They were just hiding behind dogma and power, and they still do, refusing to hear or see anything other than the... What's different?
You want to drive? You want me to drive?
What?
Where's your mind, honey? What do you feel like having for dinner?
Len, damn it, I don't give a damn what I eat. Just go home, I'll
more than 2 miles.
Yeah, I know the goddamn distance, Len. Go on.
June 17th, a day of reckoning.
Hiding out in your office? This must be special. I haven't seen you here in 3 months.
Luann, you know D.A.M. and well not to come in here when I'm with someone.
You'll love this one, Earl. This is rich.
We're talking business here. There's gonna be some swift changes made around here, sweetheart. You better hold on to your panties.
Honey, you have no idea. I paid a visit to your little beautician girlfriend in Springfield this morning. You know her, Earl? She
What
ain't
the
shit,
hell are you
but I
talking
bet she
about?
gives great head. You know her, Earl?
I don't know
Get
what
out
you're
of
talking
here with that crap!
Well, you should see her. You get a big kick out of it because she happens to be 5 months pregnant with James.
Luann, I will hit you, I swear to God I
You
will!
will not, because I will sue you for every cent you've got. Well, you have to know, Earl, if you boys don't talk about these things and already don't know it, is that James and I have never once had sex without a condom.
You shut your filthy mouth!
Years ago! Because James doesn't want children yet. Not by me. Not once he'd have to take responsibility.
Just get out of here with that talk!
You think there's going to be some swift changes. Honey, you ain't got no idea the swift changes there's going to be around here.
You can stay on for all I care!
What's going on, buddy?
Earl, I'm in love for the first time in my life, and it's killing me.
June 18th, a day of discovery.
I knew that James would want to have a lost shotgun.
I know I don't want that stinking thing that killed my husband ever in my sight again.
Lordy, lordy. Would you look at that gorgeous piece of hardware? Boy, that smell takes me back. Huh. Hoppy's number 9 powder solvent. Nothing else in the world smells like that.
Don't stick that up to your face. Honey, it scared me to death.
It's not loaded, Len. Come on.
It still gives me the willies. Just put it down. Honey?
Conroy? Have you done anything with this gun?
What do you mean?
You didn't clean it or anything like that?
No, man. I didn't want to handle it any more than I had to, if you want to know.
Smell the end of the barrel? Does that smell like a stinking gun to you?
What?
Walt's gun has not been shot.
Cue lights.
End of Act 1.
Intermission.
Upon your profession of faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
And I still keep seeing Walt. It's the strangest thing. My heart goes right into my mouth. It's weird to get that feeling that you get when the elevator's going down too fast. That whoa you get in your stomach and chest. You know that?
The Ferris wheel. It goes over the top and starts to hum.
It's weird to get that feeling when you're just standing still on the ground. And it's never really Walt. It's just big man in a nice suit, moving like the way that Walt moved. Assured, and for a minute my mind plays a trick on me, and I think, there's Walt. And Walt.
No, that's pretty much like hallucinating.
Well, you would know.
Yeah, trust me on that one, huh?
Bobby Rose can be such a beacon. He's been by to sit with me almost every day, and if he can't make it, he always calls to ask how I am.
Sharon, I have two things to say about that. Rich widow.
Oh, good Lord,
Why does everything have to be so base and vulgar with you? We talk and pray together. You scare me sometimes. That beacon of yours is an important, young, good-looking part of a big, ambitious church. With very wide arms, very big ideas, and quite a churning political agenda. And that's a furnace that's going to take an awful lot of stoking.
I know it will. I am rich. It's almost disgusting. I knew we had money, but I had no idea how much things were worth. Did you know that boat of Walt's cost almost $1 million?
The price tag is just the beginning.
And he always wanted the best.
Well, it surprised the heck out of me. Luann, I don't know what you want.
I want my lawfully wedded husband, James, to stand in this chapel where we were married and say before Christ and our congregation that he has been unfaithful to me with Heather Ralston in Springfield. And I want him to say to me and to Christ and to our congregation that he is sorry for it. And to solemnly promise that he will not see her again before God. That is what I want.
Luann, I don't know what you've heard, but I'm sure it's not true. You can't ask a man to publicly destroy his reputation.
I want him to save it.
I can't help you if you're going to be hysterical, Luann. You better think about what you're saying.
You're darn right I'm hysterical.
How about I talk to him, see what this is all about? Now, don't you think that'd be a better solution?
No, Reverend, I think that sucks. You two talk every day. You two are like that. And you don't know or you refuse to believe one thing about him?
Sucks or not, that's the way it's going to be.
Why? Why won't you
Even
just...
if what you're saying were true, you're not thinking of the hurt it will cause his mother. Sharon Bates has just lost her husband, and now, on the basis of some rumor, you're trying to take away her only son.
That's not some rumor. I've met...
I won't have you stand in front of this congregation and humiliate yourself.
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
You go home to your husband now.
My husband isn't at home. He hasn't been home in a week. He's living adulterously with Heather Ralston, who's pregnant with his child.
When? If a woman tries to defame a man I know to be good, whether it be part of some political agenda or her own, or for whatever money she thinks she can get for her slander, that woman will be subject to the strictest force of the law. I can guarantee you that.
Are you mad?
You
Are
and
you
James
mad?
have suffered a terrible tragedy. The whole town suffers with you for your loss, for all our loss.
Are you talking about Walt? Walt didn't give a damn for me, or for James for that
You
matter.
go home and you think about this conversation. Ask for God's guidance. He is always there for you, Luann. Think about how you can be a better partner to your husband.
That man is as crazy as a bug.
That man's a real sweet cookie, Luann.
He talks in circles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't say anything in front of everybody.
Remember this?
June 18th. I knew James would want to have this.
Lordy, lordy. Would you look at that gorgeous piece of hardware? Boy, Walt's always had the best, didn't he? Feel that?
What am I supposed to be feeling? Is this the best?
Yeah, close enough. gun like this gets you back, what, 30, probably 50,000 bucks?
You're joking. For a shotgun? Ruth's dad was a collector, so she knows.
I'm pretty good with a rifle. Shotguns I never knew much about.
I know, I don't want that stinking thing in my sight ever again.
Yes, thinking is a very subjective term when it comes to quality firearms, Sharon. Boy, that smell takes me back. I forgot I called Dad. I haven't talked to them in over a week. Hoppy's number 9 powder solvent. Nothing else in the world smells like that.
Don't stick that to your face, Ruth. You scared me to
Dad,
death.
it's not loaded, bud. Come on.
It still gives me the willies. Just put it down. Honey? Honey? That's what she's been like for 3 weeks. You say something to her and she's St. Joan off being burned at the stake.
Execution happens off stage. You know that. Conroy, have you done anything with this gun?
What do you mean?
You didn't clean it or anything like that?
No, ma'am. I didn't want to handle it any more than I had to, if you want to know.
Smell the end of the barrel. Does that smell like a stinking gun to you?
What?
Walt's gun has not been shot.
Well, I imagine with all the rain that...
Water doesn't wash away the smell of gunpowder, Sharon.
No, I don't. It could have happened any number of ways. As dark as it was, he could have grabbed my gun by mistake.
Walt would know with his eyes closed. Weight, feel, you couldn't possibly mistake those
I
two guns.
don't even remember having my gun, or what I did with it. I just threw myself on the ground like he said and prayed. I could have thrown it anywhere.
Your gun's been fired. Walt's hands up.
I know, Conroy. God, I don't even want to think about it, how something like that could have happened.
Well, his gun could have discharged when it hit the ground.
Very unlikely.
With the noise of the storm, he might not have even heard it.
No. No, I heard it. I'll hear that shot for the rest of my time on Earth. Please, I can't think about it. That night was the end of my life. I began an entirely different life that next morning.
I think we all did, Earl.
Walt didn't.
Listen,
Silence.
silence.
Honey? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking if a tree falls in the middle of a tornado and there's only one asshole there to hear it, does it make a noise?
Uncle Boyd!
July 1st, the day of reasoning.
Look, I've read a lot of Shaw and a lot about him. Most of his plays and prefaces, at least. His music criticism's phenomenal. While the essays justifying his socialist and atheist beliefs are another story.
I'm surprised you read something that your church discourages.
We're expected to be fully acquainted with the scope of the task. I mean, Ginger Reed asked if I read St. Joan, told her I had, but to refresh my memory, I went back to the
And
text.
discovered the play was anti-church.
Pretty nearly. Look, I have no interest in the Catholic doctrine. Normally I wouldn't pay those boys any attention, but Shaw would be interested in Joan's story because he could use it to underline his thesis of the corrupting of the stultified thinking.
I think he was impatient with any bureaucracy.
I can't decide if Joan was just incredibly stubborn or mad as a hatter.
Damn stubborn. Perfectly sane.
You don't think she was a couple short of a six-pack? I mean, hearing voices, I know
Oh,
that...
Reverend, I'm surprised at you. The Bible is chock-a-block full of people hearing voices, seeing angels. I know of any number of people who claim to hear the voice of God, or some saint, or some family member who's been dead for years. I myself have heard the voice of my mother several times. Who's to say if an idea occurs to someone as a voice, it isn't a sign of genius as a sign of insanity?
Joan's voices were entirely different, and I've always thought suspect. I mean, they sent her out 3 times alone on stupid skirmishes. Gitarai had to go right after her and save her butt. And Gitarai, by the way, Bluebeard in your play, his beard wasn't blue, but I'm sure that must be effective on stage.
Should play like a house of fire. I was waiting for you to hit on
Just
Geese.
that she'd be comrades with someone so monstrous. I mean, St. Joan and the bloodiest child murderer in history.
That was later, after his father died.
Grandfather.
Right.
You know, it was only 2 years after Joan that he started sexually assaulting and slaughtering young boys from all
It
over
has
the world.
nothing to do with what we're doing, and do not tell Ruth. You'll completely screw her up. She has to think of Bluebeard as her defender, not some monster. You can't.
She had no defenders. Where were they after her capture, huh? Who spoke for her?
Bluebeard didn't. The king didn't.
No. That's the most bothersome thing in our entire
She
history.
was a wild hare. She couldn't be trusted to listen to the commanders. I mean, she wanted to go out and fight. They wanted to sign a treaty, go home and be shut of her. I mean, the French have never
Shaw's
been
play is
fighters.
a play. It's fiction. It's just,
Socialist, anti-church propaganda.
it's a damn good show. Aren't you gonna shower?
Nah, I didn't really work up a sweat.
Thanks.
I have a meeting in 15 minutes. I don't understand the epilogue. I mean, they burn her at the stake, and then I'll come back 500 years later and say, oh, golly, well, they just made you a saint. I didn't do too badly as the king, and then the executioner says, oh, well, I sure am sorry to have lit that fire under your tail, but now we'll all live happily ever after. I mean, you'd think the writer would end with the execution.
Not Shaw's side.
But Joan had already made the church look like idiots. What did she gain in the end?
France as a nation, she gained eventually the unification of France.
But even her voices abandoned her after her capture. I mean, the voices of the Catholic St. Catherine and St. Michael, essentially the voice of God, she thought, deserted her. No, I'm sorry, God does not behave like that.
Oh, good Lord. God behaves like the most appalling bully I've ever heard of. Maybe he needed a martyr that day.
Yeah, so that 600 years later, the Catholics could decide that denying church authority was perfectly all right and canonize her.
Well, as you say, Reverend, there's no speaking for the Catholics. Actually, you've been a great help with the voices. Ginger says sometimes that people break out in tongues, and that's been great with my...
They might be inspired by God to speak in tongues, and another member of the congregation might interpret those tongues. That is not claiming to hear the actual voice of God.
It's been helpful in any...
Listen, I've been thinking. We're a religious community. Ordinary, God-fearing, church-going people. Every community has its own standard of morality. We have ours. An entertainment that's anti-church, as you acknowledge St. Joan is, lies in the face of everything that we hold dear and important and try not to say fundamental.
Good. Oh, you mean we might actually offend someone? It hadn't even occurred to me.
Yeah, you'd enjoy that, of course. It's kind of fun to smack a few behinds every once in a while. And with state money. I was reading that program that the theater puts out. You're at least partially funded by the Missouri Arts Council, so essentially this operation is funded by state tax money.
Probably. I know nothing about it.
You know, the internet's a marvelously useful tool.
What?
The internet.
Oh, probably. I'm completely computer illiterate.
I was able to call up 2 separate translations of Joan's trial. Shaw condensed it considerably, but his version's fair.
Glad to hear.
You can look up anything. The voting records of every state senator, or representative, or national congressman.
Very useful for your church, I'm sure.
You better believe it. The botanical name of almost any plant, newspaper stacks, back files of the Los Angeles Times, anything.
Must have been fun.
Everyone knows everything about everybody around here. Somebody new shows up. Naturally, we're curious. I assume you settled the tax fraud thing? There wasn't much mention after the initial brouhaha.
Not fraud, just back taxes and fines and penalties. The usual IRS fashion. I wish the papers did say fraud so I could sue them instead of having to sell my damn house.
Ouch. And what about the statutory rape and sodomy charges? Why were they dropped so precipitately?
Insufficient evidence. The girl was a minor, but also a prostitute.
15.
16. You have parishioners who get married by that.
Marriage is a very different thing than forced sodomy in the backseat of a
Not
car.
forced and front seat. Very awkward.
I imagine so. So then, you're in no trouble then over any of this?
Not at all. So what are you going to do? Pick at the play?
No. I'm afraid they tried that with a play at Springfield Maze Play. Actually tried to shut it down. And were made basically to look like fools. Just playing into the hands of the enemy.
Not enemy, I'm sure.
Hard to say sometimes, isn't it? God behaves behaves like the most appalling bully I've ever heard of. I meant to steal that.
How is that Kurt's problem? I mean, who gets offended by George Bernard Shaw? It's George Bernard Shaw!
I'm not surprised, honey. When I was teaching high school students here the importance of ratifying the ERA, one of the church deacons threatened to tell the chancellor of my college I was once arrested for drug possession.
Good God.
She never told me that.
So what? Everyone in town knows you were wild and crazy.
Everyone in this town, the chancellor has never been to Dublin. Lives outside Springfield in a private compound. He owns a chain of Christian newspapers, prints Bibles. We're talking a first-class, card-carrying, sanctimonious ass.
Warrant, were you arrested?
That's the sweet point, darling. It doesn't matter. The least whiff of any infraction and drugs, forget it. End of game.
You stopped talking about the ERA. I do not believe it.
I didn't exactly stop. I just changed my modus operandi. For all the damn good it did me, huh? And no, Len, I wasn't arrested. Exactly. I was strip searched once. That was fun.
First preview tomorrow night. Seems like a boy that just got to town.
Does it? I feel like I've been working on this all my life.
I love your haircut.
I cannot look in the mirror. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we actually need an audience.
I'm still forbidden from seeing it.
I would break both of your legs. Give it at least a week. Give it 2.
Not possible.
I'm not kidding.
Bobby. I don't know if you know what's going on with me.
How can I help?
We need to talk.
I hope to God. This has nothing to do with what Luann was talking to me about.
We have to talk.
I'm here for you. Anytime, James.
I know, Bobby. I'll come back. So I've been going over Ruth's books.
Good to have you down here. Everything in order?
No, I wouldn't say that. Pearl, everything seems to be in any sort of order to you.
Totally Mickey Mouse as far as I'm concerned, but it's not my call.
Looks like in your past 2 years as manager, cutting back 10% the first year and almost 12 the second, all told has cost us more than $250,000. That's volume. That's not the extra storage barn, refrigeration shed, manpower, equipment.
Figure roughly 400,000.
You got a buyer for the provolone?
Your dad was working on it. He knew all the distributors. I've been looking through his notes.
So no.
The first year of provolone will be sold within the month.
I hate cheese. God, it makes me sick to even come down here with the smell of it in my face again.
If we put another 10% to the cheddar, we already have a good 2-year-old. We can start distribution in a year. If we hold back the 3-year-old 2 more years, I think we're going to have the best aged cheddar America's ever produced. You cannot rush it, James. Walt was in this for the long haul. You change horses now, you're throwing it out the window. That sounds like you're throwing a horse out the window. It's a process that has to run its course.
It's just not your call anymore, Len.
I know that.
Oh, you do? Oh, I'm so glad.
It's Sharon's call.
What the H-E-double-L does my mother know about this?
She'll say if Walt had a dream, she will damn well want to see it happen.
Kraft can take the whole load off my hands. They'll take the provolone and the cheddar, and I can cut at least some of my losses.
And take it and turn it right into their vats. The whole 2 years would be lost.
Saved. At least part of it.
James, your dad was in this for the money. I'll run the numbers for you. Your profits will be 30% more, likely more than that. I'll get a buyer. We'll get a contract. It'll be...
I'm not interested in the long haul, Len. I'm not going to be here. I want this up and running the way it was. I don't care about your fancy gourmet artisan cheese or the subtle art of aging. I have no time for this. I have too many things to worry about.
know James's desire to walk in the path of righteousness. We know you understand the weakness of mortal men. Lord God, our Father who made us and knows our failings, look upon your son James. Help him to find your strength and clarity of purpose. Guide him through this difficult time. Speak to his troubled and confused mind. Lord, we pray to you to give us the wisdom, if we have strayed from your teachings, to set ourselves right again on your path. Lord, we ask your blessing in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, God.
The day of the first performance.
Oh, God, I can't do this fuck this,
How
man.
did it go? The show, how was the audience?
I don't know, they screamed and yelled, mostly college kids from Springfield. I think, okay, some professor brought this whole damn drama department to the first preview. They almost wouldn't leave the theater. Boyd was ecstatic.
Did they think you did good?
What? I can't do that. Okay, yeah, they screamed and touched me and carried on. The rehearsals didn't tell me it was gonna be... Okay. Those judges are so fixed. I couldn't reach them at all. They only have their law or career. There's no talking to them. They deliberately trapped me, saying things they knew perfectly well how I had to answer before they even asked me.
Joan couldn't reach them, you're saying.
Well, it wasn't Joan tonight. It was me. Those bastards just hewed to their straight and narrow.
Honey, they toasted her. That's what they brought her there to do, and they did it. You were amazing. I didn't know you. You were wonderful.
You were there?
Of course I was there.
You lying cat! You're no better than the rest of them!
I wouldn't have told you if it turned out the show wasn't any good, or you forgot your lines, or, tripped over your sword or something.
I threw up. Twice.
Oh.
Ginger asked me if I was okay, and I told her to go fuck herself.
Oh.
Nothing mattered except driving the English to France, making the church militant believe me. Believe in me. I was okay. It will get better.
They're not gonna listen to you tomorrow night either, honey.
Well, they will if I do it right. I can never really be Joan.
What do you mean?
I'd rather burn at the stake than know I was responsible for even one person's death.
The thought of food now will either make you violently sick or else you're starving.
I'm starving.
Good.
You know what Earl's doing?
Yeah, he's out taking a job.
I went out to the dump blind where Walt was shot. Earl was...
Why would you go down there?
Because something's not right, Len. How many times do I have to tell you
I
that?
know. I know, honey. But
Len.
What are you doing down here, Ruth?
I wanted to see where it happened. What are you up to?
Clearing up?
Clearing up what?
Storm took out a lot of trees. Cutting it up for firewood this winter. Clearing up some of the brush, debris.
Where's that tree that hit Walt?
See that stack of wood over there?
What happened? Exactly, Earl? Walt was an awfully arrogant man, wasn't he? Lording it over the whole town that casual way he had. Made it look like he was important and nobody else was, and that was just the way things were. One thing good I can say about him is he was the most law-abiding citizen I've ever heard of.
Who was that?
Work in the books for someone, you get to know them pretty well. Walt stuck to the letter of the law like nobody I know. Every penny owed to the government had to be accounted for. Now, one time, we went to Springfield. Walt made us drive around the block for 15 minutes, waiting for it to be 6 o'clock so that the parking space would be legal. You ever hear of anyone that obsessed with obeying the letter of the law?
Can't say I have.
You came down here on the 7th of June, wasn't it? That night? It's not only that there aren't aren't any ducks out on the lake. There never are. Maybe more than 1 or 2 strays in June, July. Yeah, the important thing for Walt would have... When does duck season start, Earl? When is it legal to go duck hunting? First Friday of October, isn't it?
Have you given your soul to Christ, Ruth? You go on back down to town now.
July 13th, a day of departure.
Mr. Middleton?
Yes, sir. Sheriff Atkins.
That's correct. It seems like a few people in town are more than a little concerned about something.
And how can I help?
You ever hear of begging law?
I'm not sure what you mean.
My department is required by law to report the presence of a known child sex offender when he relocates to the community, sir.
Convicted sex offender, I believe, which doesn't apply to anyone in the community as far as I'm aware.
I've wired to the police department in Los Angeles. I'm waiting for their answer.
I'm all done here. Somebody has been giving you bad information, Sheriff.
Well, you have a nice trip then.
I have nothing to hide. You have a good day.
You understand. I have kids of my own.
I'd rather not entertain that thought. Thanks.
Luann, we have to talk. I owe you an apology. I honestly didn't believe your story of James's infidelity. James and I have sat long hours over this. He feels terrible and he knows he's wronged you. James has been willful and headstrong. He's done a lot of hurtful things. He's betrayed his pledge to the church, his pledge to you, his pledge to himself, to his own honor. James, would you come in here with us? He's always been willful and headstrong. But he tells me he's grown, and I believe him. He's grown stronger and wiser. He's grown to know his own heart, which is all any man could hope for. James realizes the life's companion with whom he can live in honor and raise a family, with whom he can become a stronger and more important part of his community. He has a lot of regrets, I know. It's right to say that. But what I think most important is the hurt he's caused you. James has known for a long time that his life was headed in the wrong direction. That the only honorable thing to do would be to stop now and begin to do what he knows to be right in God's eyes. In many ways, as you know, your marriage was never fully consummated, at least not in God's eyes. James is going to set things in motion for an annulment of your marriage. He feels, and I must agree, that this is the only fair and honest way to go about this.
I'm gonna talk to a lawyer.
I mean it, buddy! You are going to keep your promise to the church, to me, and to that woman in Springfield, and you will keep your whistle to yourself, or I am finished with you!
You might as well be calling that to my horny little bulldog. All either one of them knows is chasing Jay.
Oh, come on, that cute little beautician is gonna raise him a family. I'll be up on the podium with him and his little rats as he runs for the state senate and then to represent us in Washington. You know, love changes everything.
Yeah, sure. Love is something that makes you feel really good all over for about 6 weeks.
Boyd went back to LA.
He cheers, mine, and he promises, his, said he'd call, told me I should change my name, said Ginger Reed sounded like a stripper. What do you think? Honey, where are you? Got off on early again?
I think the guy telling lies and said it's so much fun. You get going, you think it's sounding so good, and you just can't stop yourself.
I'd have thought Len would already have a thermos, but if you're looking for picnic stuff, I have a basket we got from the Hummacher Schlemmer catalog years ago.
I don't know that.
Hummacher Schlemmer.
Ginger?
It has wonderful stuff, mostly imported, fine linens, china, just everything.
And the picnic basket?
You'll love it. It has bone-handled flatware, service for 6. Plates, cups, glasses, napkins. I think there's even napkin rings. We took it on our vacation. We went to the very rim of the Grand Canyon and just had a wonderful time. It was amazing.
That sounds wonderful, and that is the only thermos you have.
We used to have a 2-gallon thing. I gave it to the church.
We were remembering Earl said that awful morning that Walt had a thermos of coffee made with.
Oh, honey, he must have been thinking about someone else some other time.
The trouble with lying.
God knows you can't blame Earl for being confused about that night.
Not at all.
I mean, Walt make coffee? I know some husbands do. They get up in the morning and have the coffee already, but we're talking Walt. That man hasn't been able to drink coffee in 2 years. And I'm sorry, if he's not making it for himself, he's not making it for anybody else.
But Earl was thinking of some other time. What time did they go out? Did you hear them leave?
I didn't hear anything that night besides that horrible storm and that dreadful siren.
You didn't hear him get up.
Walt's room is all the way down the hall.
Did you sleep in his bed that night?
Why? To tell you the truth, I don't really want to talk about any of that.
We're just trying to understand.
Well, if you understand,
Sharon,
you'll be
she sleep in his damn bed that night.
I don't have any idea!
What time did you turn in?
Why? I've already told you that I don't want to talk about. I went to a prayer meeting. I don't know when Walt went to bed.
Sharon, the next time you went into his room, whenever it was the bed made?
Yes. He hadn't slept in his bed that night.
They didn't go out that night at all. In the middle of a storm, they either went out in the afternoon or early evening before the storm even got here.
For what?
I don't know, Conroy, but they sure as hell did not go out there and hunt. Unless they wanted to shoot squirrel or bullfrog, because that's the only thing that's in season the first week of June.
Well, maybe thought I saw a turkey. You don't know what?
Oh, Walt wouldn't shoot a turkey out of season, even on his own land. The spring season of turkey is the last 2 weeks of April. You're supposed to know this shit, Conroy.
You don't go to a duck blind to shoot squirrel, Ruth.
Yeah, I realize that. But you could easily hit somebody over the head with a 2x4 and take them any day.
Okay, just stop right there, all right?
Conroy, think.
Okay. I see what's going on here. You're trying to make it seem like this wasn't an accident. Only, can you give me one reason on this earth for there to be anything other?
Not very imaginative, Conroy. My mind only jumps to the obvious. Okay, how does $36,000 a year sound?
What do you mean?
I mean $36,000 a year. I mean, Earl convinces James the cheese plant should be run differently. The only thing standing in his way is Walt, who's behind what Len's doing down at the plant. Len makes $77,000 a year as manager. Earl makes $41,000. That is a $36,000 raise.
All right. Now I see what's going on here. I thought your artistic temperament was getting the best of you. You're afraid Len's going to lose his job.
Oh, it's not about that. Damn it, Conroy.
I don't want you saying one word of this, Missy, to anybody. Not one word of this nonsense, or you're the one who's going to be in hot water here.
Will you look into it?
What is there even? Okay, fine, I'll look into it.
You won't.
Of course I won't.
He thinks I'm crazy, or greedy, or both. No.
What is that going to look like for me? It's clear what's going on here, and I'm not going to get myself involved in some office politics down there. She's in that play. Picks up a vine, gets her nerves all riled up. Sees enemies everywhere she looks. Len Hoke is pulling in $77,000 a year. Shit. I knew Walt paid his health well, but shit.
Family values.
The young politician at home.
I don't want you worrying. You should be free of that. Look at you. You're a good-looking woman.
What do you mean by that?
Life isn't over at 52, Mom. Go out. When was the last time you went any fun?
You shut your mouth. Not everybody lives a filthy life like you. You humiliate yourself if you want, but don't you expect me to humiliate myself?
go out with the girls. And you have your work. You have responsibilities to the community. You are an important part of everything we're trying to do in this state. You need to take your position in that seriously. Dad didn't. He never even went to church services. He would hire anybody. He didn't care if they were church or not. He didn't care what we wanted. I don't even know he knew what we wanted. I've played 18 holes of golf with him, not saying more than 10 words to me.
He was tough. I know. He was proud.
Not of me, he wasn't. He was proud of me for the last 2 seconds of a basketball game 16 years ago because it made him look like a big shot. At least you and I were close. That's what family was to me. I couldn't have done anything without knowing I had you behind me.
You were always so bright. I knew that before you could walk. That you were going to make something of yourself. You just saw things that other kids couldn't see. Noticed things. If you wanted something, you always found a way to get it.
Yeah. Boy. Dad's shoes.
There are screws, and then there are screws.
Those awful big footprints.
What, Jimmy, you're afraid you're not going to stack up? Don't be foolish.
I don't want to take on more than we know I can handle. Do you think I can do this? Be a deacon in a church? A good representative of Jefferson City? Oversee the cheese plant, keep that running right? And first, after God, take the proper care of Heather. Love and support her and our little daughter? That's a big load to...
You didn't say it was going to be a girl. Are you sure?
Heather had a, whatever those things are called.
Sonogram.
It's definitely a girl. Does that mean your approval, or are you going to be mad at me for that too?
Oh my God, you know I've always wanted a girl. Oh, James, that's wonderful. You're absolutely sure. Can I tell people?
No. Not now. That's just between us. You know how this town is. There are people who are going to think it's not even Christian to know ahead of time.
Now, James, you look at me. Of course you can do those things, and you can do them right. I've always told you, you can be whatever you want.
I know.
But before you do anything else, you have to get yourself legally married.
I know.
And you have to do right by Luann. If she wants that house you're in, then anything she wants.
I know.
I want a granddaughter of mine to be able to hold up her head when you come to Dublin. Don't you worry about me. I'm always there for you.
You are going to be so much better off without that bastard, honey.
I feel like all our marriage, I've just laid myself out like a rug for him to walk on.
Why do women take that shit?
I feel like a weight has been lifted off me.
About 185 pounds?
No, I wasn't saying that. A lot more than that. But
Sweetie, what does your lawyer say?
he says wait. Drag it out. James has got his mother to sign everything over to him, give him the power of attorney.
She's such a fucking idiot.
So, the lawyer thinks if we can postpone any settlement until after he has that paper, we could really soak it. I wouldn't want to do that to Sharon.
Oh, bullshit.
I don't need all of that.
Sure you do.
Just stop, okay? I want this to be done. I told the lawyer not to fight the in-laws. Also, you think about his new family. He should be married to that woman before the baby's born.
Oh, for God's sake, Luann.
You have just gotten to the point where you swear with every breath you take, Ginger, you should hear yourself.
Well, I'm sorry, but you give me a real pain in the butt sometimes. There's Christian behavior and turning the other cheek, and then there's just being a damn fool romantic asshole, Luann.
Well, it's too bad you don't approve. But that's what I'm doing.
What the hell is that truck doing out there?
It's pulling out, James. What's
Hey!
it look like?
Hey! What's that Asher truck doing here? Who the hell are they?
I told you the provolone would be sold. Well, it's sold.
What the hell? Get them back here! Charlie, call us back!
That is not your province.
So that definitely is my province.
You called it up and canceled. You had no right.
Here's the contract. This is what they've taken. There's a provision for delivery every 6 months.
What the hell do you think you're
I
doing?
was a little short in my estimate. You can see provolone weighs out at 10
I
pounds.
don't give a DAM and what provolone,
You
nothing.
can see the 4,600 pounds.
Or get your ass back in
better return.
What are you trying to pull?
A good deal for you. Listen, I told you your dad was into the money. I was figuring it'd take 3 or 4 years to recoup the cost of the extra equipment. Looks now more like 2.
A little less.
Can't get a price like this.
You already got it. Walt would have known how to talk to them. I just had 3 distributors down. We had a little tasting party, then a little bidding war. It's funny as hell. I wish Walt could have seen it. They were all in private corners on their cell
You
phones.
had buyers down here without me knowing about it? Without me here?
Yes, I did. You would have fucked it up. With, all due respect. Action was committed to 5 years, option for 5 more. You'll be way into profits before then.
You want to continue with that program, I can make that cheese as good as Len can.
You cannot.
Why don't you tend to your books, Reese?
Not interested, Earl. You call them up and you cancel. You have
No,
no
wait!
right.
I can't. They're very excited about this, James. Damn it, they'd probably sue your ass if you read
Any
it now.
suing happens, you're the one who pays for it, not this company. God, I told you I didn't want any of this. Damn it, Earl! Earl! This outfit will stick to that price.
You serve for 5 years, then you renegotiate higher.
You guarantee you can produce what they want.
No question. I kept back 200 pounds if you want to sell it here from the plant. That'd double your income on it.
Len, you fruit. I don't want to open up some gourmet grocery in this cheese factory. God damn it! I'm gonna have to look at these figures. I told you I didn't want any of this. I don't want any fancy crap around here. God damn it! Damn!
Yeah, but he sold up that money.
If it was just the money, he doesn't guess right off. What the hell's wrong with him? He's got some bug up his butt, some competition with his dad or something. Whatever his dad wants, he wants something different.
If James keeps you on as manager, that means Earl killed Walt for nothing.
I wish you'd never thought of that. I can't look Earl in the face. Please, just don't say anything more right now. Let it drop.
What the hell are you talking about?
We are in a very delicate position here. We have almost 3 years in this and a hell of a lot of company money.
No, I'm sorry, that's
No,
irrelevant.
that is very relevant, because we are going to end up in the tank here. Just because you keep running that story around. Do you realize how difficult it would be for me to get another company interested in what I'm trying to do here?
That's tough. That's what I think happened.
Christ, No. No, I don't believe it. Earl couldn't do it.
I know you're close with him, but I think he did.
Have you told Conroy?
He thinks I'm paranoid about Len losing his job.
You should be. And you losing yours.
This is more important. It's someone's life. It's your dad, my friend, my boss. It's murder for money, cold and passionless.
Earl can work up quite a passion for money, but I'm gonna forget I heard this. You're crazy, honey. You are cute as the Dickens, but you're Looney Tunes.
Well, Conroy is still gonna look into it.
How?
If I knew how, I would do it myself. I don't know, I guess checking out Earl's balmy story, Ducks in June.
Earl told me they were just going to work on the blind. Check it out. You do that in the summertime.
You know that won't wash. There is no way in hell Walt is ever gonna take that gun out of the house before October 1st. The only way things could end up looking the way they do is if Earl went into the house and took Walt's gun himself.
It didn't happen. I know it looks crazy to your pretty head, but honey, believe me, he doesn't have it in him.
I think what you're doing is you're closing that brilliant mind the way you do anytime you hear something you don't like.
I was standing outside the courthouse yesterday morning with Sheriff Atkins. He drove by. He said, "Look, there goes Joan of Arc." I didn't realize he was making an allusion to the madness until right now.
I thought you had such keen reasoning, Bobby.
Maybe you should listen to my counsel, Ruth.
I feel like whoever it was who walked all over the countryside looking for one honest man.
Diogenes.
Except I am looking for one person who will listen to reason. And I thought that would be you.
You destroy a man on suspicion alone.
I wouldn't have suspected a man of God to shield a murderer.
I know Earl to be a good man.
And you know me and Len to be bad, I guess? You know too damn much. Ask him one time Walt left the house that night. Ask him if Walt made coffee.
I will not.
Not even to hear him lie to your face.
I will not.
Test him.
I will not.
He'll lie to your
He
face.
will not.
You know it's true.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I'm sorry to interrupt your church service, but something is troubling me very deeply, and I think this is the place to talk about it. Someone gave an account of an incident. A long, detailed, heartfelt, tragic story of what happened in a certain place. We all felt for the pain he was going through. Everyone did. Then all of a sudden, something in my mind, like something out of the corner of your eye, something sounded wrong. Something in his account wasn't correct. Wasn't right. He couldn't have expected any of us to notice. We were grieving. We weren't questioning.
I think you better leave, Ruth.
Please. But I started to ask
You're obviously
questions.
upset. I was wrong to let you go this far.
I want to say this.
No. Go home.
I'll escort you.
No.
We don't need your questioning.
No.
We need healing.
No.
What are you doing here?
Not a word of anything it said was actually happening. Not a word of it.
No, I can help you.
I'm sorry. I want you to ask me.
I wish you were at school always. Be not afraid. There's a serpent amongst us. Just like a thief in the night, and just the goodness of our people. This rod now will be poured out down. I command you to recognize this devil and cast this liar from my house. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost.
It scared me.
Yes, he would. He really said this rotten apple would spoil the whole congregation.
Yeah, something like that.
At least old Ben Franklin's going to be impressed. Having God himself quote his poor Richard syllabus.
What?
The rotten apple spoils his companions.
I thought it was the whole barrel.
Not original.
That's Ben Franklin? Not from the Bible?
No way.
Oh, well, I guess Ben and God and all them are real tight up there.
Borrowing from each other right and left.
It scared me.
It should.
Hey, doll.
Hey, about time you called. How's LA?
I'm in Chicago. Someone here saw St. Joan and they're spreading all around that I'm a genius.
Excellent.
They want me to direct a play and I get to hire my own assistant. They said it's okay if I hire someone from out of town.
I'd have to be back for the last show of the season. I'm directing.
Well, I'll be your assistant on that one.
Hello? I should tell whom to shut up? I see. No, I understand. You're admirably to the point. a good day now. Fuck. Great fun. Said Ruth was bearing false witness all over town.
You threatened to tell the transfer you were arrested again?
No. This one's going to tell the Springfield newsletter I'm sleeping with one of my students. Fuck.
Great, tell them to prove it.
Well, that wouldn't be too difficult. I am sleeping with one of my students. I mean, he's in the adult program. He's 33. But I'm still old enough to be his much older sister. And he is still a student, which is very revolting.
I only told people I thought would look into it.
The sheriff, Reverend Bobby Groves, James, the entire congregation of the church are lieutenants.
Reverend Ropes wouldn't let me tell them anything. I told you.
And Ginger,
And me.
And the coroner?
Ruth,
Well,
and Boyd.
not Boyd. He left town.
You think maybe it was Earl who called you?
I didn't know the man, honey.
All right, I will shut up about it. For a while. I don't intend to get you fired.
No. To hell with them. I don't belong at that school. I don't believe in a thing they're doing.
Even what you're doing. Damn it.
No.
Well, I'll have to do it somewhere else.
It's locked in the barn car, Ruth. Enough people know what you think. This town, everybody will know by tomorrow.
What the hell does the coroner want to talk to me about?
What do you mean?
Set for me to come by and speak with him and the sheriff tomorrow, whatever the hell it is, I don't like it.
Calm down, buddy. Relax.
Tate Moses said I ought to kill that bitch Ruth Hoke. I think he's right.
Everybody's going to be saying you're trying to blame an innocent man for something he didn't do.
I can't help that.
This isn't the town you grew up in anymore, honey.
No, it isn't.
You've got no family here.
I know.
But frankly, I don't want to raise a family here.
I don't either. So you're saying we should move? Or leave show business? No. There has got to be another cheese plant in Missouri that would like to make history.
I started looking through my files, taking calls, the night you stuck that gun up to your face.
How did
You don't play chess. You learn to see the logical outcome of your actions. Think ahead.
Definitely my short suit.
It's not going to be easy. They may want someone in Bowling Green.
Where's that?
That way, I think
I wouldn't want to move too far from your mom.
that might not be an option.
So Bowling Green would let you do what you want?
No. It's just a job.
So you manage, or they'd let you run the plant?
Not manage. Just work for. It's not certain they're even hiring.
Can't. Okay, it doesn't have to be right away.
Yeah, it pretty much does. I can't work down there. Let Earl have it.
What about the cheese?
It'll all go bye-bye, honey. Can we not talk about it? We know what we have to do. It's gonna have to be enough.
I hate to do this to you, Sharon, but things have gotten too complicated. Len and I wouldn't feel comfortable working down. Len and I are gonna have to leave. We will stay on until you can find someone to replace him.
No. You won't.
You will if you need him to. You can't run a Dublin cheese plant yourself.
There isn't any Dublin cheese plant.
Kraft has been making us an offer every 6 months since I can remember.
Kraft would love for Earl to take over. That's what he's been after all along. If we'd known he'd kill Walt to do so, we could have left something.
You shut your mouth! I don't want to hear any of it. None of your slander. We don't have time for it. You've done enough.
Earl's gone.
Gone? What do you mean?
Gabriel, what did you expect? finish a sentence.
There's no call for that language. I can think of a lot of things Earl would do. I cannot think of one thing he wouldn't do for you.
Be careful what you say. Sure.
Earl wouldn't run away. Earl doesn't have the sense to run away, and it's my fault. No.
Whatever it is that's happened, I'm glad you know it's on your head.
Dear God, forgive me. Did you always know? Or were you trying to run damage control after the fact?
I'm exhausted, Ruth. I've been out with the sheriff, members of the congregation, deputies, all looking for Earl.
So have I. So's Lang, so's the whole town, Reverend. Truck headlights up and down the river, so's the whole
I'm
town.
innocent. I can't know everything, and neither can you. This is ripping my heart out. The law of the land demands proof, and the law of the church is set down in clear strictures. I can only hope that my counsel is for the greater good.
The greater good. Oh my God. The horrors that have gone down.
I'm not God! Who can see into a man's soul, and neither are you.
You may think you are doing the right thing, Reverend. And I honestly believe you're a good man. But your counsel is of the devil.
We're going back to last night, and then we'll say goodnight.
Midnight, Barnes Woods.
1.5 miles outside Dublin. I got it worked out pretty good. Most of the stuff Len brought in is just rented. The rest I can get about 3/4 of cost. I don't have any problem dumping it.
You kept it simple, I hope. Mom isn't the brightest broad when it comes to numbers. You're gonna have to walk me through it.
Is that about right to you?
Yeah, that's about right. Mom should understand it. She's more susceptible to the emotional appeal, right? This is something I know I can do right, or I can do this for you, sort of an introduction. The lawyer says I'm gonna have the quickest annulment in the history of the state.
When's the final?
2 or 3 weeks, end of August.
How's I know I can do this right shit?
Yeah, that works. Yeah, perfect.
So, your mom's gonna sign the power of attorney?
That is signed, sealed, and in a fireproof safe.
Oh, I feel weird.
You are pretty weird.
No, I mean to my stomach.
Last week. It's going around. Or maybe it's nerves. Although you don't have nerves.
I got nerve. What are you talking? I got nerve I haven't even used yet.
That kind of nerve for damn sure. Although you have got to be the worst liar I've ever heard. You're about as bad at lying as Mom is at cussing.
What do you mean?
We said we were going to keep it simple.
You said we were never going to talk about
Well, Ruth Hope damn near told the entire town in church on
She's
Sunday.
got no credibility.
Her mother-in-law does.
No way. A couple of hysterical women.
Oh yeah? What does the coroner want to talk to you about? You said a simple hunting accident. You had to bring in an act of God and homey stories about Dad making you coffee? Dad didn't drink coffee. He hasn't for years.
How the hell am I supposed to know that?
And at a duck blind, you don't think. You are constantly leaving loose ends for someone else to tie up for you.
What does that even mean? Best to just leave it. Let's go back to town.
Remember Linda Barnes? He moved off. Her dad used to own these woods. Still call them Barnes Woods. Junior year, we came here damn near every night. I was dating some girl in Springfield, and Linda was going with Shorty. She would not let him get to first base. come home from Springfield, and Shorty would drop off Linda, and she'd take her dad's car, I'd take mine. She had a quilt, kept it in the backseat of her dad's car. In daytime, I bet you could have found 100 condoms scattered around here. Probably rotted by now. Now, Shorty would tell everyone how he was scoring, and I would just let him talk.
I feel like shit tonight. I gotta chill. Chill is something.
You drunk off 2 beers again?
Oh, no, I'm okay. Why are you telling Lynn and Ruth you're out?
You ready to go?
Give me a hand, buddy.
This note should work. I swear you print like a 10-year-old.
I know. When are you telling Lynn and Ruth they're out?
Everything in its time.
August.
September.
For who hath known the mind of the Lord? Who hath been his counselor?
October.
Hey, buddy.
You're dead, Earl. You took one mother dose of poison. Out of remorse, probably. Everyone will understand. It wouldn't work, buddy. I tried to make it work for you, but you just talk too D-A-M-N much. You know, you take one step in that coroner's office, and within 5 minutes you'd say, well, hell, it wasn't my idea.
Dear, sweet God. Forgive me!
Halloween.
For who hath first given to him, it shall be recompensed unto him again.
November.
James wins an uncontested election to the Missouri State House of Representatives. On the same day his daughter is born. Thanksgiving.
December.
Earl's body is found in Barnes Woods by 2 boys and their father out looking for a Christmas tree.
For of him, and through him,